So before we can dream about making an impact to the people outside, we as individuals need to come to that place to say, hey, I think I've got something on the inside of me that I can offer to this world. And with that, courage arises to take that first step. With that first step, then things will begin to fall into place. Then as the person begin to seek out their vision and their purpose, transformation then happens. Leadership is not a title. It is the process of becoming that person that you are meant to be.
Welcome to the Summit series of Voices of Courage Asia, where we celebrate leaders, changemakers, and visionaries who embody courage and drive transformative impact. I'm your host, Priscilla Tang, and in this special series, we explore stories of resilience, leadership, and the bold steps taken to create meaningful change. Today's guest is a passionate advocate for marriages, families, and community empowerment. For the past decade, she and her husband have been actively mentoring couples and strengthening family foundations. She firmly believes that the strength of a nation lies in the strength of its families, and that begins with strong marriages. She currently leads the vibrant Wild 31 Women's Ministry in Singapore, and by profession is a licensed estate planner and financial advisor. It is my pleasure to welcome Joanne Chua to today's show. Joanne, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you feeling?
Thank you, Priscilla. I'm really excited. This is something that I've been looking forward to because I know that the impact that Her Courage Leaders Summit is going to make in the landscape of Singapore, calling out women to step out in courageous leadership.
Wow. Thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
Yes.
And again, thank you so much for setting aside time to join us. Yeah. So let's get started, shall we?
Yes, let's do that.
All right. So Joanne, what does inspiring courage for transformative leadership mean to you personally?
Now, this is a very big theme, and it is a very powerful theme when we are talking about inspiring courage for transformative leadership. First of all, before transformation can happen, the person itself, the man or the woman in this case, needs to arise out from a place of slumber. We need to come out from that place where we think that we look at situations with the eyes of possibility. When that happens, then transformation can happen. So before we can dream about making an impact to the people outside, we as individuals need to come to that place to say, hey, I think I've got something on the inside of me that I can offer to this world. And with that, courage arises to take that first step. With that first step, then things will begin to fall into place. Then hopefully, as the person begin to seek out their vision and their purpose, transformation then happens. So when it comes to leadership, it's always about the individual. Leadership is not a title. It is the process of becoming that person that you are meant to be.
Oh, that's such a wonderful answer. I mean, I'm just processing all that you have been saying, from having that eyes of possibility and then having that vision and purpose.
Yeah.
It means so much. It's truly, it's a journey. It's not a title like what you said. So a lot of people that I've known, they hold leadership so tightly like a title, but when you say that, it truly is something that we go through with vision and with purpose. So absolutely love your answer there.
Thank you, Priscilla.
Right. And what inspired you to pursue a leadership role, and how has your journey influenced others?
I think when my own journey really began when I was a teenager, and I always have this desire to want to make a difference. So when I come across a situation that injustice is there, or when I feel that things can be done better, when people who are disadvantaged needs to be given an opportunity, I often spot such situations. So it provoked something on the inside of me, and then I say, surely there must be something we can do. When no one responded to me as a teenager, then I said to myself, then surely there's something I can do, with the little that I have. So with that, I began to find opportunities to basically help people. So I wasn't thinking about the title. Like I mentioned, I was just looking to make a difference. And of course, in my years of upbringing as a young girl, I was what we call a prefect, right? A prefect in school. So a prefect, then you do hold some form of leadership responsibilities. But that process made me realize that, hey, it's not just the badge that I have that makes me special, but it is my willingness to go the extra mile when I see something needs to be done. So that was really the beginning of my leadership journey, if you would term it that way. But it was more of a discovery journey of who I am, what am I passionate about, what keeps me up at night, what drives me. So as I go on that journey, I realized that, hey, in everything that I set my heart out to do, I want to be the very best, not just for success sake, but really how can I help more people in the process. So the desire to value add in every situation that I was in make me think that if everybody would also perhaps consider this other view, consider the other person, then maybe we can make the world a better place. Yeah, so that was really how I started. But over the years, I'm really grateful to the opportunities that was given to me in school, in our workplace, and of course for me, because I'm faith-based in the faith organization that I'm with. All of that gave me opportunities to serve, to help people, and in that process, the leadership abilities was then developed.
Right, right. And thanks so much for sharing that whole journey, even from your childhood. I think it's amazing, that at such a young age, you already have that self-awareness, looking within and feeling that desire.
Yeah.
That willingness and even that motivation to want to make a difference, like you said,
Yes.
to meet needs.
Yeah.
I think, Joanne, I've known you for more than a decade now,
Yes,
and
that's
ever
right.
since I've known you, I've always seen the way that you stand up for the truth and also to make a difference, to support those that are around you, and you are not afraid
Yeah.
to stand up for what you believe in, and that's what I've always known about you. You truly stand by your values.
Yeah.
And just hearing you recount all that starting from a young age, it brings back lots of memories of when we go way
Yes.
back then. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I think that is oftentimes when we look back where we are right now and where we came from, we realize that, hey, as the journey unfolded, it formed who we are today. But back then, we talk about 15, 20, 30 years ago, we had no clue that we will be sitting in a studio like that and talking about things that matter to us, things that are passionate to you and to me. So yeah, I think life has its way of bringing us to where we need to be with the people we need to be, so that we can get to where we want to be.
Exactly. I love that. So perfectly said.
Yeah.
That's great. All right. And would you be able to share a story of when you had to make a courageous decision as a leader?
Right. So there have been many situations. I would say that in my journey of being a leader, it has generally been smooth sailing to a large extent. However, last year in my personal life, and I must say this, that leadership extends even within the home. Even within the home. So this example that I'm going to share has got to do with the family front, right? So my family and I went through a life-changing crisis last year where my elder brother dropped dead. He literally had a heart attack and he was gone the next minute. So with that, I then had to step up and make a lot of decisions that were very uncomfortable and new to me. But my aged parents needed me. My younger brother needed me. So I was literally pushed into that place where I had to roll up my sleeves and dig deep. So this was, I would say, an involuntary situation where stepping up was necessary. But because of the lives that were at stake, because of what was at stake, I didn't have a choice. As much as I wanted to run away when confronted with this very difficult situation, I had to bolt my feet to the ground and wipe off my tears and say, okay, let's bring this forward. How can we then settle what's ahead of us? How can we take care of those that are alive? So I would say that in my recent memories, that is still fresh, very fresh to me, where it is about leading my parents, leading my family, and having to deal with all of the answers that were coming from relatives and everyone else because of because of the nature of the event. It was having to remain calm and composed. It was having to be okay without having all the answers. It was really digging deep to ensure that I do not snap at all of the demands that were coming, but to understand that hey, everyone is grieving, everyone is under tremendous amounts of stress, but somebody has got to be the calm one. Somebody has got to be clear-minded enough to make all the decisions that needs to be done. Now, I do not take all the credit. My husband was there with me, but he was behind the scenes supporting me. I still had to be the one to front a lot of all these decisions that needed to be done. Yeah, so I think in recent memories, that would be one of the more fresh situation that I had gone through. Yeah.
Wow, I think, I can't begin to even imagine what you must have gone through. And even right now, like you said, it's still fresh in your memory.
Yeah.
It's surely a very challenging moment and season of your life. And, thanks for, being authentic and vulnerable to share with us this. I think, for me, it's just trying to put myself in your shoes to really understand how that immense pressure, the desire to also want to be supportive towards your parents, yet needing to make quick decisions,
Yes, that's
navigate
right.
lots of ambiguity.
Yes,
I
that's
think
right.
you really embody that courage, that fearlessness, and that willingness to just do it in spite of all in spite of all the uncertainties.
That's
So
right,
thanks for sharing that with us. I think, for the audience and the listeners who are listening in, I'm sure that they can take inspiration from you to, that if you can, that even for you when you're going through something that's so challenging within the family front, in your immediate family with your eldest brother, right?
Yeah,
Your eldest
yeah.
brother. Surely, whatever that our listeners are going through right now, I'm sure that they will be able to take courage and stand strong and to continue believing that they can still take the next step forward.
Yes. Oh, and all of that, and I was a new mom. Right.
Yes,
Yes,
you
yes.
still are as well.
Right, I was breastfeeding. The baby was 5 months old at that time when it happened. So yeah, and I was trying to figure myself out. Priscilla, you're mom of two beautiful girls. I don't know if you can still remember those early days where you just given birth. You're a hormonal wreck basically, right? Trying to figure all these things out. Yeah, so that added to the pressure of it as well. But what's happened. Looking back, I think that if not for the love and support of my husband and close friends and the sound voices that kept me on the straight and narrow, I think, I wouldn't have made it. Yeah.
Wow. I think that really truly shows, innately how strong you are, as a woman, as a mom, as a sister, a daughter. And just came to mind, whatever doesn't crush you actually makes you stronger.
Yeah,
and look at where
absolutely.
you are now.
Thank
I
you.
think given some time that has passed, I wouldn't have imagined that you had actually gone through such a challenging and difficult season in your life just only quite recently.
Yes,
So again,
that's
thanks for sharing this heartfelt story of what you and your family have just gone through. Right. Yes, and how do you encourage and cultivate courage in the people or teams that you lead?
Right. I love this question because this is something that I really enjoy doing in all these years as I serve the other women that have been placed into my path. Right. Oftentimes, many women, they are mostly in the marketplace. Some of them are stay-home moms. They generally come with that posture like, okay, I just want to do my job and then be a good person and then live my life and then I think I'll be okay. So most women do tend to think this way. Some women are a little bit more, I would say, progressive and ambitious and they were like, okay, I want to do something with my life. Now, regardless which situation the women are in, the first thing that we always encourage them to do is to look deep on the inside, to ask themselves, what is the intention behind their action? right? To the women who are more progressive and ambitious, they say, hey, I'm not satisfied with where I am. I want to go somewhere. Then the question to ask is, why do you want to do it? Who are you doing it for? Right, when they can answer these two big questions, it crystallizes some of these things. Because coming out, some women can come from a place of wanting to prove a point. Now, this posture can drive us can give us certain mileage in achieving success or progress, but soon they will burn out because the intention behind that drive is not coming from a healthy place. Okay, then for the women who do not wish to be seen, do not wish to be heard, they just want to do their jobs and fulfill their basic duties, but they are not happy. They are not happy. They are struggling on the inside, and they do ask themselves this question, that surely there must be something more to life than just these responsibilities. So when they start questioning themselves, then I will say to them, yes, there is. So what are you passionate about? If today, you don't have all of these responsibilities that you have to deal with, what will you be doing? So that gets them on that first journey to ask themselves, so who am I? What am I made for? So different groups of women that embark on their leadership discovery journey coming from different places, the approach is different. But the end goal is, first, I think this is something that Lillian embodies very well, and you too, Priscilla, is to first lead ourselves. So there is no two ways about it. We cannot possibly go out and tell the people that, hey, I'm here to help you, when we ourselves are not open to being helped. When we ourselves are not open to receiving counsel or mentorship first in our lives. If not, it can veer us into a state of control and even manipulation. It's a very fine line when women come to that place to say, I want to prove a point, I want to make sure that all these people are taken care of. But are you trying to make them prove loyalty to you and your cause, or you truly want to see them succeed, prosper, you truly want to see them set free? So I think the intent behind the motivation of this leadership discovery journey is very important.
Right. So I'm hearing that it's really about looking within,
yes,
and finding out the intention
Yeah.
behind why we do what we do. So a lot of times it's not what we say,
yes,
but the motivation, the intention behind it.
yes,
I also love what you said about also asking ourselves, who are we? What do we stand for? I mean,
Yes.
the identity part,
That's
right?
right,
And then
yeah.
ultimately also discovering the purpose. Why do we want to make certain decisions or take certain
Yeah.
actions? So really, it's about going within
Yeah.
and first taking that step of
Yes.
self-leadership.
that's right.
So really love what you said, and I think again, leadership is a constant journey, and we keep leading ourselves.
Yes.
And as we lead ourselves, I think from what you have shared is also then how we will be able to influence
Yes.
and lead the other people in our network, in our community.
That's right. Absolutely. You're spot on about that. Yes, and you are an excellent leader to your two daughters. They are testimony of your leadership. I think this is something that a lot of women neglect. They don't realize they already have a leadership role in the home front.
Yeah, thank you so much, Joanne. I think you're too kind, really. I mean, we are all leaders in our own right,
Yes.
like you said, and to what you mentioned earlier, it's also about taking up the leadership in the home front, meaning in our family first, within
Yes.
our own sphere of influence.
Yes, that's right,
Within
that's
our own
right.
family. So yes.
Yeah.
Right. And how can mentorship inspire courage and empower future transformative leaders, Joanne?
I think mentorship is the key. The key to discovering potential, and the key to that will lead to transformative, courageous leadership. Without mentorship, we are blindsided. We cannot see our blind spots. But with the right mentors, I would say not just having one single mentor, but having a few mentors that specialize in different areas of our lives to help us become the best version of ourselves, right? So mentorship, the investment into mentorship is something that the woman must be willing to pay the price for, not just monetary, but the time, the energy, the openness of heart and mind to receive from that mentor, hey, is this an area that I need to work on? Is this an area that I really want to be accountable for? I think with that learning attitude, I think then this person is set on a journey of transformation. Then when this person is transformed, this results in her leading in a way that is also full of, I would say, full of freedom. You know, it is not controlling. It is life-giving almost. Like this person will value add wherever she goes. So the entire person, you know, of who we are, body, soul, and spirit. So we need to have mentors that help us in all areas. But I'm not saying that, right now go and find 10 different people. No. I think that will be a foolish thing to do. The right thing is always progressive. You know, we take one step at a time, we build one area at a time, and then we progressively add up. So I think in my own journey, I have one main mentor, but I have mentors in other areas that help me to develop who I am, from who I am as a woman, who I am as a wife, who I am as a marketplace leader, who I am, even in the process of being a mother. I have inputs from people that I trust, and they can give me all the words of wisdom and gems of the world, but it is my responsibility to respond to their advice. It is my responsibility to act on those advice and see the change that I want to see for myself. Yeah.
Right, Joanne, and I totally agree with you on the importance of mentorship in our growth and our learning journeys.
Yeah.
I think, as we have already agreed earlier on, right, in life is a constant learning journey, and when we find mentors in various aspects of our lives, I think that's really going to support us in going faster. You know, like you say, you know, to help us to be aware of some of our blind spots. I think. What came up earlier on with what you said is also about that accountability.
Yes.
So our mentors can share all the great advice in the world, all the golden wisdom, golden nuggets of wisdom. However, it is also up to us to really be open, to accept what they share with us, and also, you know, having that responsibility to press in. Because it's also, I come to realize it myself, it's also about pressing into their lives, making time, making space to have some of these it could be really deep conversations that might be hard going, right?
Yes.
I see you nodding your head. So yes.
So one of the things that I see with some of the women that I come across is that they have this tendency to go from place to place, person to person, in the name of seeking out mentorship, because they want to be heard. They want to tell someone their problems, but essentially they are looking for someone to agree with them at their level. Okay, so it's different. When we seek mentorship, we are being challenged to come up to a higher level. But if all we want is in hopes that somebody of a higher caliber will somehow identify with us and agree with us in the way we look at the situation or the way we look at ourselves, which essentially is not helpful, then only then they will be satisfied. Now that is a negative example of seeking mentorship. Seeking mentorship really requires a large degree of truthfulness and openness, right? Because with that, like you say, whoever we are connected to, it can accelerate our progress, because mentors often have gone through much more things already. They have overcome many things in their sphere, in that particular industry, in that particular role. So by taking lesson cues from what they have gone through helps us avoid those pitfalls. So that's what accelerates our progress. Not saying that we will never fall. We will, because falling is often the greatest teacher. Right? Falling down is often the greatest teacher. So I think having the right posture to seek out, and for us as mentors, really, when we don't just mentor anybody, you know, we really want to give the best of what we can to those who truly want it as well. Yeah.
Right. Yes, I absolutely love what you said. You know, it's true how you know, when you were earlier, you were recounting about some ladies when they seek out mentorships, if the reasons are not right, it is actually a negative example of it. And ultimately, I think it shows at the end of the day, after their journey, if they are right where they are, it means that the intention or the reasons why they're seeking out that mentorship actually doesn't serve the right purpose.
Yeah.
So going back to where we were saying, I think having a big heart, staying accountable, and also taking in some hard words, actually it's for our own good. It's for our benefit.
Yes.
So, you know, they often say, right, what is hard on the ears, but actually it's actually good for us moving forward to accelerate our growth and journey. And, you know, I think we all want to be liked. So for the very fact that if our mentors say, you know, or share certain words of advice that might be hard going, they actually, it's because that they love us and they want the best for us. So I totally agree with what you said.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if we're only looking to find pleasing words, you know, to boost our ego all the time, I think that does not bode well for progress. That does not reflect transformation. But that said, we should not. I remember someone who told me that he said, this person was learning how to drive, right? And he said that, he will purposely look for an instructor that will scold him. You know, I said, why would you want to do that? Why would you? He said that, because getting scolded spurs me. Okay, so this is a very unique and unusual approach to want to become better. It means they thrive under negative or reinforcement, right? But I think generally most of us, we do thrive under positive reinforcement with the right dose of truth, you know, delivered in a healthy manner. I think I think in our parenting approach it is the same. We can't be saying sweet nothings all the time. You know, when truth needs to be delivered, we need to deliver the truth, but with grace and with a touch of love.
Exactly. I think with what you have just shared, I think what comes to mind is really just balance is the key to life. I think love, words spoken in love, nurturing, that are supportive, balance also with words of wisdom and with authority, you know, spoken at the right time. I think that's great, you know, balance. I think I wouldn't want someone who's just scolding me all the time. So I think over time I'll be so discouraged. Right, and then moving on, I just like to understand, if there's one piece of advice about courage and leadership that you could give to the next generation of women leaders, what would that be?
Did you know that out of all the Nobel Prize winners in the world to date, only less than 10% are women?
Wow, thanks for letting me know, actually.
Less than 10% are women who have won the Nobel Prize laureate across all the industries. What does this mean? So to all the next generation of women, even to our generation, I want to believe that there's still time for us to really catch up, time for us to really blossom. That is to understand that this age that we live in, without sounding too like a feminist, it's really the time for the women to arise. The women to arise and take our positions from the home front to the various industries that we are sent into the community, even to the government places. Statistically, women's representation on boards, right, on governing boards across, whether is it the corporatization, corporate organizations or religious organizations or even voluntary organizations, the women representation is often not on par as the men. So we are not trying to be like the men. We want to come alongside and understand the power of teamwork, the beauty of teamwork. What the next gen leaders, women leaders will bring to the table, we need to bring the heart of the nurturer. We need to bring that ability to read a room very quickly, because we as women, we are sensing. We sense what is unspoken. Right, and when that is our superpower. So tapping into that superpower and translating that into actual actionable steps that bring about impact and change in society, in the education sector, in every area that you and I are gifted in or we have been placed in, I think this is something we need to be awakened to the responsibility. We are all responsible, because if we don't awaken, then we are letting someone else with the wrong motivation come to a place of leadership. So leadership will always be in place. It's just a matter of good or bad leadership. So as women, when we understand our motivation and it is pure, it is for the people, it is for the betterment of lives, then we need to be, I would say, shameless about that pursuit of the leadership role, the pursuit of the opportunity to be a voice of influence wherever we are. Yeah. But it comes with the notion that we don't just speak and point out problems, but we must also bring forth solutions. We must also bring forth solutions. So women are known to have large word count, right? We have our word count. I know my word count is way more than my husband. I'm sure it is the same for you, Priscilla. And I think the women listening in today, a small minority will say, no, my husband has more word count, which I have encountered such couples, right? But in general, women have more word count. But what we do with that word count is very important. How we speak, what do we speak about, and whether do we tap deep into our creativity to bring forth practical solutions to the problems that we are seeing. So to the next gen leaders, I think understand the tremendous amount of responsibility that you bear in coming up. Understand, less than 10% of the Nobel Prize winners to date are women. Let's bring up that number. Let's aspire to see women rising up in every pillar of society, coming up and having new breakthroughs, new discoveries, bringing forth changes that will impact those in need and to also impact those at the very top.
Wow, I think, Joanne, I'm so encouraged and inspired by what you just shared, and so many takeaways from what you just mentioned. What comes to mind right now is the first thing is to awaken, to arise, and also to take responsibility for us as women, knowing the position that we carry, knowing our own posture, that we are to not underestimate what we can do, as women, and truly it's also to work hand in hand with men.
Yes.
Yeah, to partner with them, to collaborate with them.
Yeah.
So such a beautiful piece of advice, and I think it's going to be staying with me all through the night as I reflect upon what you have just shared. I think this piece of advice is not only for the next generation, the current generation, with what I'm just hearing from you. It's so amazing takeaways already. So thank you again for sharing your heart, for this amazing insights into who you are and your experiences as a leader.
Thank you.
Right. And so today we are also delighted to announce our partnership with PSB Academy, where we collaborate closely, enabling students to learn from our esteemed guests, and that includes you. So I have a student representative with me today who will be engaging in a conversation with you. So welcome to the show. Could you please introduce yourself and share what motivated you to enroll in PSB Academy?
Hi, I'm Monica, so I represent our team. So today we will be discussing how to improve our teamwork skills, enhance our competitiveness in the workplace, and make our opinions more easily accepted.
Thank you, Monica. That is a very powerful question, because it is a very big question, because there are essentially three parts that you are asking me, right? First of all is how do we improve our teamwork abilities in terms of the teamwork within the corporate place, right? And also how to enhance your personal competitiveness in your workplace, and how to make your opinions better accepted. I think first of all, teamwork is the success factor of every company, of every project, of every great thing that we want to do. Without teamwork, nothing ever actually happens. Now, teamwork does not come easy to most people, because when we work as a team, we need to first discover each other as a person. So do I just want to only get to know you because of what you are good at, or do I truly care for you as a person on the team? So I think in my own journey, when I first started out working, I think that was when I was 20 years old. That was my first corporate job. I had to work with people that were much older than me, right? And in that process, I had to learn how to navigate between my bosses, my colleagues, and my suppliers. So this multifaceted situation forced me to grow up very fast, because at that point I didn't. My boss was a great mentor, but she doesn't come down to the level of details that I needed instructions about. So I had to really learn on the job. So I think the first thing first is, when it comes to improving our teamwork, is to not be afraid to ask questions. But in the process of asking questions, it's how we ask the questions. Because you may genuinely want to know, okay, why are we doing this? But when the person gives you that reply, we need to think through their reply, and we also need to think through our question. Because I work with teammates whereby they just want to ask questions for the sake of asking questions, and they don't bring value, right? Second of all, is that ability to offer yourself beyond your scope. Now, this takes balance, right? This takes balance, because you must know what you are primarily responsible for, and then you must know what is the end goal of this project that the team is going for. So we understand our role as an individual, we understand the impact of the entire project, and you ask yourself, how can I fit in? Now, if I'm able to do my role well, is there somebody else that needs help that I can come alongside to help? This portion, the human nature is selfish at its core. So to undo that, we need to have that strong confidence to know that, hey, by doing a little bit more doesn't mean that I am being bullied, but it also means that I get to learn. But of course, please practice wisdom to know that if you are being thrown a lot of duties that are not supposed to be your job to begin with, then you need to speak up to the project leader or to your manager. So in enhancing teamwork, it's always about communication. It's always about respect and honor, that we don't look down on somebody else, neither do we think very highly of ourselves. And sometimes you could be the smartest one in the team, and it is okay, but we don't have to make sure everybody knows that we are the smartest. I think humility is a very, very precious character to have in the process of teamwork, because nobody likes someone who is a know-it-all, but everybody would appreciate somebody who is willing to come alongside and pull in that extra weight for the success of the team. Right? I hope that answers your question about teamwork. In terms of personal competitiveness, I don't quite like the word competitiveness, but I get what you're trying to say is, how do you stand out, right? How do you stand out in the midst of your colleagues and all the people that are on the team or on the project? I think having that assurance of who you are as a person, what you are good at in that particular job, and why you are there, really, really will help. Because insecurity can eat us up on the inside. When you feel so insecure about yourself, you just think about wanting to make yourself look good. But I realized that one of the key things to success is to make my boss look good, is to help my boss succeed. Now, if the process leads to the bosses appreciating what we have done, yay, we celebrate, we go for a meal, we celebrate. But sometimes we do meet with bosses that do not know how to appreciate our contribution, but that doesn't make us of a lesser value. That basically tells us, okay, next time when I become a manager, when I become a director, a leader, this is something I don't want to be like. I must always be mindful to appreciate. So the process of learning and growing often comes through very intense situations. So put aside this idea of wanting to compete with others. The only person you're competing with is yourself, to be a better version of yourself, and deal with the insecurities in our own heart, and come to a place to say, okay, this is what I am good at, I will do it well, and I will trust the process. Trust the journey, that everything will unfold accordingly. All right. And then the third thing is really about, you were saying about how then do we make our opinions better accepted. I did my internship in Hawaii when I was 18 years old. So I was and that gave me a first opportunity to work with foreigners, to work with Americans who are a lot more outspoken than we Asians are, right? So in terms of wanting to make our opinions better accepted, I think we need to ask ourselves, what is the purpose of giving this feedback, right? What's the purpose of? Is it just to show that I'm not happy with the situation, or is there truly a value add behind this opinion that you are putting forth? And when we do give our opinions, be prepared to let it be rejected and be very okay with it. If it's not accepted, not rejected, don't take it personally. I think a lot of people suffer because they feel rejected as a person because their opinion was rejected. So we must develop the skill of having a strong heart to understand that when we give a feedback and opinion, it is the person's responsibility and choice to accept it or not. We do not have the power to force the person to accept it. When you can come to terms with this, then you come to a level of freedom to speak your mind freely, but politely, in an honorable way. So with that, you practice as you go along, you realize that, okay, is my opinion and feedback I'm giving of value? I hope that answers your very loaded question on all of these parts. All right?
Yeah, okay, thank you. So, have you felt the influence of societal or family expectations on your career choice?
Yes, definitely. In the era that we were growing up, in the 80s and the 90s, because of mass media, because of what we were sold on television, there was no social media then. It was just everything we see was on television. What was deemed as a good career, right? So we will typically, when we were young, we play games like, oh, do you want to be a teacher, a doctor, an engineer, a pilot? So all of these traditional, very meaningful occupational choices were presented before us. But as I go along, I realized that, hey, I'm not very good at math. I'm not very good at science either. But I think I can speak quite well. I can write quite well. I like to help people, right? So that slowly, as I develop as a person, my career choices shifted over the years. My first dream of entering the workforce was that I wanted to work for the United Nations. As a young girl, I had this grand dream. I want to work for the United Nations because I want to make the world a better place. Then I realized that, hey, to make the world a better place, to help the poor and needy, we need money, We needed money. But if I don't know how to talk to the companies who have money, they're not going to give me the money for all these very meaningful projects, orphanage, helping people to build wells and all that. They're not going to give me the money. So I realized I needed to switch lane and learn to speak the language of the corporations, of those who have money. What are they thinking? How do they speak? What is important to them? So I went into that lane to learn how to work with people in the banking industry, to work with big hotels and all of that, learn to speak their language. And eventually, for an early part of my career, I was able to do something which I enjoyed, which was taking money from the big companies and channeling it to the people who are in need in third world countries back then. So that was the early part of my career. And this was something that was not traditional in any sense, because I wasn't signing up to be a teacher, or I wasn't studying to be an engineer. I was just merely being a channel where resources would flow. So fast forward to where I am today, 10, 20 years later, my career choice is influenced by who I want to become as a person. It is no longer what my mother, my father, or what my friends think I should be, but I ask myself, who do I want to become? Where do I want to be? Who do I want to serve? So that basically changed my entire career trajectory. So for a good 10 years, I was doing communications and events and all of that. But at one point, when I turned 30 years old, I asked myself the big question, is this what my life is going to be about? The money was good. The benefits were good. We were flying all around the world, staying in 5-star hotels. But is this what I want to do for the rest of my life? And I dig deep, found the answer, and I say no. And then I make a switch. So we won't be doing the same thing for all of our lives. we must evolve as a person. We must grow as a person and be okay to make changes along the way, right? So I think in today's day and age, people have so many options, right? I was talking earlier to the lady. Her name is also Joanne, and she teaches people how to do podcasts. This career option for her is not something that was available 5, 6, 7 years ago, but today it is. So we live in a very exciting world where there's so many career options. So who do you want to be? But before you answer that question, you need to answer, who are you? Then you can discover who you want to be.
Okay, thank you for your suggestion and for sharing your stories. Yeah.
And thank you so much, Monica, for joining us on the show. Thank you also to Joanne for your very insightful perspectives. I love, the questions that you have shared with us. We really truly have to dig deep and ask ourselves those really deep questions to do that self-inner work. Like you said, our life is constantly evolving. Our journey is progressing, and I think what we need to have that skill is the agility and the adaptability.
Yes.
But before all that, so ask ourselves, who are we and who do we want to serve? Who do we want to become? Really having a very clear purpose and vision. I think that really stood out for me even as you were sharing. So thank you so much for your time today with us. I wish that the show could go on because I feel I have so much more that I wanted to hear from you. But I think this has been amazing already, and look forward to hearing more from you as we catch up again. So if you have found inspiration in today's episode, I encourage you to take massive action, whether is it to step out of your comfort zone, embracing new opportunities, or simply to support a cause that drives positive change. So this has been another powerful episode of the Summit series of Voices of Courage Asia, so where we inspire courage for transformative impact. So until the next time, keep leading with courage and making a difference in the world.
I began to find opportunities to basically help people. I was just looking to make a difference. And of course, in my years of upbringing as a young girl, a prefect in school. So a prefect, then you do hold some form of leadership responsibilities. But that process made me realize that, hey, it's not just the badge that I have. So as I go on that journey, I realized that, hey, in everything that I set my heart out to do, I want to be the very best, not just for success sake, but really, how can I help more people? Make me think that if everybody would also perhaps consider this other view, consider the other person, then maybe we can make the world a better place.